interesting industries that pops in my mind is cosmetic.
Maybe something about K-pop.
Cosmetics.
Yeah, cosmetic. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, it's time you guys learn something about it.
Well, we are all men except
Yes,
for Amika.
That's why we-
Yeah, but you know
Big
what?
lie.
It might be good for you if you're seeking a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, do use cosmetics.
There's a
We got
reason why
really-
I recommend this industry. Is there's one interesting company that called Amore Pacific. They have a lots of shops in Singapore and other Asian companies. So yeah, I think this company is gonna be very interesting.
Amore Pacific.
Yeah, they are listed. So.
Who doesn't want to look beautiful and refined? We all do, right? And if I say there is an Asian company that is committed to make the true beauty of Asia known to the world, I'm sure you all will be intrigued and interested to know more about it. So let me walk you through the profile of true Asian beauty creator, Amore Pacific.
Just one day a year, at the brisk breaking of dawn, delicately handpicked, only from the best, none from the other.
Timeless beauty from botanical science. Amore Pacific.
After World War II, Seo Sung-han took over his mom's small camellia oil shop in Kaesong, the economic capital in North Korea. He named the shop Taepyeongyang, which means Pacific in Korean, and started to expand the cosmetic business. Based on small success, he established Cosmetic R&D Center first time in Korea at 1954 and launched coated powder, and it was very sensational because it was developed by a technical cooperation with French cosmetic company. But the market had a problem. The Korean women did not have enough information and did not know how to make up. So he published beauty magazine to provide information and stimulate the needs of the customers. But most importantly, in 1964, he hired female employees to begin the door-to-door sales. They educated customers how to do the makeup and responded fast on the customer claim. As a result, most of the revenue came from these ladies. This female sales army is still taking a significant portion of the company's sales. They have sold more than $400 million last year. From 60s to early 70s, they had 80% of the domestic market share. But they shrink a little bit because of the foreign luxury brands and LG came into the market. But thanks to long-term research about Oriental medicines, made them to launch successfully Seoul Hwasu in 1997, which is the most prestigious brand of their own. Heavy celebrity marketing helps the company. This graph shows the Korean domestic cosmetic market. As you can see here, Amore Pacific still takes the lead the market.
So in short, there are three key points to be a domestic market leader in Amore Pacific. One, they had a first mover advantage, and two, they had a long-term and huge R&D investment, and three, they had a beautiful collaboration with the Korean celebrities. Now I'm gonna pass to the Manan for the further discussion.
So if you look at the Amore Pacific stock performance in the past couple of years, then you will find that in 2014 itself, the stock returned about 130%. followed by an extremely good performance in 2015 itself by a growth of 78%. So what has been the underlying factor behind the growth of Amore Pacific stock? If you look at the revenues of Amore Pacific, you will find that almost 800 billion won of new revenues have been generated in the overseas market in the past 3 years, whereas the domestic market itself has grown quite a bit, giving a CAGR of almost 13%. One of the biggest reasons why it has grown so well in the domestic market is actually the influx of Chinese tourists who are buying Amore Pacific products from the duty-free shops and even from the markets in bulk. Whereas the overseas market is actually dominated by China itself. They have done really well in China. Let's hear to some news feed and some analyst recommendations about why this is happening.
Foreigners are increasingly being exposed to Korean TV dramas and K-pop, and local celebrities with flawless complexions have ignited a desire for Korean-made cosmetics. The domestic cosmetics market is expected to grow 7% to about $11 billion this year, driven mostly by the boom in Chinese tourists snapping up the latest products. So are Korean cosmetics really that good? In a survey of over 800 foreigners, the majority cited the wide variety of products for reason of purchase, while others like Korean brands for what they can do.
The quality of Korean cosmetics is great compared to the relatively low prices. There's also a wide variety of makeup available. I especially like lipsticks and primer products.
Exports of Korean cosmetics are also on the rise, reaching nearly $2 billion in 2014, up more than 50% from a year earlier. And the boom is bringing good times to Korea's cosmetics companies. Amore Pacific, a local cosmetics giant, has seen its share price more than double from a year ago, while LG Household and Healthcare has also seen significant growth, giving them more reason to expand their stores.
They say beauty is vain, but what is life without a little bit of vanity? Today we'll be talking about Amore Pacific strategy in China. Why is China so big to Amore Pacific? Well, the Chinese market alone comprises of 200 million people using cosmetics. It is the second largest consumer industry for cosmetics, second only to the US. Amore Pacific has ranked 9th in market share. It is growing the fastest among all its competitors with a 32.4% growth year over year. That is why China is so important to Amore Pacific. So what are the steps that Amore Pacific has taken in order to get into the China market? The baby steps that it has taken. 1. It did its research work on 5,200 females of China, trying to understand their consumer needs. What is it that they're looking for? Second, they launched in the right consumer market, which is they chose the right geography as Hong Kong. Hong Kong being somewhere where they could concentrate their efforts and understand the impact that they are bringing. Third, they launched Laneige, which is a line of products which is very, very specific to the Chinese women. Fourth, they hired all the right people. Their corporate office is comprising of Chinese people. So those people actually understand, those people who are marketing those products actually understand the consumer needs and the Chinese mindset. The two most important retail channels for China that they are actually looking at and they are actually trying to build further, and where the growth is coming from is online and is the drugstore. The growth being 140% and 154%. Okay, and what do you look for in a cosmetic brand?
I think it's whiten and keep white.
Skin whitening?
Yeah.
What do you look for in cosmetic brands?
Maybe like it's hypoallergenic. Yeah, and the quality, of course.
Okay. So when you're picking a cosmetic brand, what do you generally look for?
Normally I hear the recommendations from my friends.
Okay.
Because most people are, my friends are Asians.
Okay.
So there are certain cosmetics for Asians specifically, for the skin types extra.
Okay. What cosmetic brands do you generally use?
Currently I'm using the Japanese brand, which is, I don't remember the brand name, but but because Japanese cosmetics is suitable for the Asian skin, so that's why I use it.
The way that Amore Pacific has launched its brands in China is quite interesting. It started off its journey in China in 2003 with a mid-premium brand, Laneige. It then went on to very premium brands like Salvasu, Momont, and then now recently it's launched Innisfree and Etude. These two brands are more focused towards the younger people.
속눈썹은 예뻐지고 있다. 에뛰드 닥터르쉬 앰플. 자기 전에 톡톡톡. 속눈썹이 쑥쑥쑥. 에뛰드 닥터르쉬 앰플.
방금 뭐 한 거야? 진짜 뭐 한 거야?
속눈썹 닥터.
The way that Amore Pacific has positioned itself in China, it positions itself in the minds of the consumers as a quality product, but something that's not as expensive as the other global brands. So something like L'Oreal, something like a Shiseido, or the P&Gs of the world. It is actually positioning itself as a very high quality product, but something that is affordable, a little more expensive than the other indigenous Chinese products, but definitely high on quality. So what has made Amore Pacific a success in China? They've been doing all the right things, using the right kind of brands. So they've come up with the brand innovations. The brands that they've launched in the recent times is Innisfree and Etude. We spoke about it. Those are the brands targeted towards the younger consumers. 2. Using the right medium to promote their brands. The Chinese population, the younger population, is very influenced by the Korean pop culture. And that's what Amore Pacific has been doing, promoting their brands through them. 3rd, the right kind of innovation for their raw materials. And 4th, they're pricing their products right. So they're high on quality, but they're not as expensive as the P&Gs or the L'Oreals. Okay, so can you tell us a little now about the Chinese cosmetic industry?
Oh yeah, so there are about 4,000 domestic enterprises actually, but they occupy only 20% of total Chinese market of cosmetics. And basically multinational companies, they keep dominating Chinese market.
Which multinational companies are these?
Yeah, so first of all, in the top 10 cosmetic companies, 9 companies are foreign. And if we go further, top 3 companies, this Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal and Shiseido, they occupy almost 25%, only these 3 companies, 25% in terms of value sales of Chinese cosmetics market.
Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely competition is getting tough in Chinese market. And several foreign companies, they decided to invest more in order to capture larger market share. And among them, definitely Amore Pacific, because they keep growing and they're looking for Chinese market. So what they did is actually they invested about 750 million yuan in 2014, and they made the biggest manufacturing capacity outside, overseas. So they want to increase a lot in Chinese market.
Okay.
So there are 3 strategies for Amore Pacific to expand their market in China. First one is to expand their market into tier 2 cities such as Hangzhou or Kunming. So because Amore Pacific is only entered the tier 1 city, so there is a potential in the tier 2 cities. And second one is mobile marketing. Because nowadays, Chinese people are buying their cosmetics from mobile. If Amore Pacific focusing on more on mobile marketing, they can capture more customers from them. And third one is to adopt Chinese actress for their advertisement. If they want to capture more customer base, they need to create new national hero for their advertisement. So these 3 strategies makes it expand their Chinese market more.